Good evening. Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the Racing Line for yet another live stream. Here we are for round 8 of the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. Here we are this week around Road America, the track that you can see on your screens right now, and it's a fairly big track to, well, definitely compared to Oran Park last week, but it's over 2 minutes a lap around this track this week. 6.4 kilometers of track length in America, of course. Road America being the track name, is located in America. I don't want to say the track's too difficult. It's not too bad. It's not too bad to drive. It's wide. There's going to be slipstream for everybody. Qualifying is going to be key this week. I mean, well, that's completely the opposite of what I meant to say. Qualifying isn't going to be key. Slipstream will be key. And if you do qualify on pole, then that's probably one of the worst places to be throughout the race, as everyone behind you is going to have a little bit of extra speed on that massive straight, or those massive straights throughout this circuit. However, a very wide circuit and a lot of good racing on the way, I'm sure. In terms of the championship so far, can you believe it? 8 streams already. Bentist is in Twitch chat. They all merged into one for you. Yes, they have. There's been a lot of them. We're here on round 8, Road America, 3rd of May. Next week will be round Silverstone, and then to Summit Point, then to Laguna Seca, and finally we'll go back to Watkins Glen for the 2nd time this season, but round a different layout, the Cup layout instead of the Boot layout, which we visited in round 3. 2 minutes of practice left for the boys on track. You can see the lap times on your screen as well currently, and that is an all too familiar name, isn't it? You have got Jake Cranston up there on the top of the timesheets at the moment. ZFG is here. That's Funk Master Greg. I'm guessing that's Zero Forks Giving. Zero Forks Giving Racing, which means they are here to support Martin Wallace, and I'm sure the rest of the team. For Guelfio, I'm going to say the C with a TH sound this week because, you know, Spanish. Says, don't know who he's here to support. Maybe Yeezus. Of course he is. Yeezus is in chat, replying with some hearts. This is all on Twitch at the moment. Let me know if you're watching on YouTube as well. Stephen King is a damn familiar name, says Bentist. He's a famous writer and a famous Jetta driver at this rate, if we keeps going. Zero Forks Giving Racing says, good afternoon from the USA. Funkmaster Greg says, yes, sir. So I was right with that one. TRY, Try Racing. Good to see you, dude. Thank you for joining. Watching on YouTube. And yeah, there we go. Let's that's all the chat for now, so let's have a look. Well, this is about to change over from practice to qualifying, the all-important qualifying, and whilst it does that, let's we can get rid of that schedule. We don't need to see that anymore. You know that we are live every Monday at this time for the next race in the championship, but we need to see what is happening in the championship so far. This is the constructors' standings, as it were. There are currently 8 teams on the grid. Paddy's saying evening, everyone. That's one of our drivers. That's Thomas Berlin. You'll see him. Electric Racer is also watching. Mad John, come on, win it or bin it. Hoping for a podium for Andy Fox or Martin Wallace. I'm sure he's hoping for a podium for himself as well. But win it or bin it, looking to get some podiums and close that points gap at the moment to Pulsus Esports. You can see it on your screen. Pulsus Esports currently running away with nearly 800 points on the board, first place. Now, remember, there are drop rounds in the championship, so this won't be what it looks like at the end. It might look a little bit closer, but at the moment, Pulsus looking like they are doing very well, although it seems to be, as I've said before, 2 strong results and a poor one for the 3-car team. Win it or bin it in a similar boat with 620 points. Now, Masters of Talk currently in 3rd with 566 points, and really close behind is ORD, who've had a couple of mediocre rounds compared to their early form to get 554 points. Meatball Lovers 398. Close to them is Lurchus Gaming, who had an amazing round last time round. Electric Racer says send it or bend it. That's that could be another team that could rival Win It or Bin It. But yes, Lurchus Gaming had an amazing round last time out, and it closed them right up to the back of the Meatball Lovers team. 365 points. All Sports Racing 232 points, although for a majority of the season so far have only had 2 drivers. So And it's looking like it's going to be similar for the rest of the season as well. So not too bad with only 2 drivers. But at the same time, only 30-something points behind, 35 points behind is JP Simsheds, who only has 1 driver and has had only 1 driver all season. That's Ray Oliver, the Australian man out there with 197 points, looking to break that 200-point barrier this time round. Now, the Constructors is done. The Drivers' Championship is what you all want to see. And here it is. Jake Cranston, who we mentioned, fastest in practice today so far. We have 388 points for the Masters of Torque leader, the number 78 car there. But close behind after an amazing round at Oran Park. Cadared says, "What's up, my nerds?" Thomas says, "I'm going for no quali approach. Worked last week, so he's going to try and stay clean." Although Oran Park was a little bit of a different circuit, Thomas. So maybe... Well, at the same time, you're going to be slipstreaming people, so it's completely up to you. But Jake Cranston, 388 points. Stephen King, 352 after a double win last time out at Oran Park. John Bailiff, consistently up there, just picking up points when he needs to. Podiums. Also a win to his name as well, I believe. In fact, I'll double check the stats on the wins because it'll be interesting to see who's done what so far in the championship. He does have 1 win to his name. Ryan Smith for ORDs, 254 points. Henry Morse is in 5th after a double 3rd place last time out, 244 points. He jumps up quite a lot. He was down around 9th before, so he's now up to 5th, only 10 points behind Ryan. Donny Alpha Henriksen also consistently up there, 243 points. Jared Kaler, 234. Christopher Smith in 8th for ORD with 218, and 2 points behind him is Kieran Dempsey with 216 points, with Joshua Germany, the final Pulsar Esports driver, with 202 points, rounding off that top 10. Jeremy Agard will be looking to break that 200-point barrier today with 198 points. 1 point behind him is Ray Oliver. You could say it might be closer between those two. They had coming together at the Nürburgring round, and it was a sad sight to see as Jeremy lost out on a podium. But at the same time, they've both found themselves consistently at that top end and fighting for those points. Andy Fox for Win It or Bin It, 188, is drawn on points with Ika Lequay, who's had a late surge of pace for Lurchus Gaming. Morgan Burkhardt, All Sports Racing, 174 points. Martin Wallace in 16th. Jesus Amundare in 17th. And rounding off the top 18, Charles Rainford, who has missed the last 3 rounds with 132 points, but a very, very quick driver. Let's have a look at the rest before we get to see what is going on in qualifying. Dan Thornton, 19th for ORD, 82 points. 3 points behind is Sebastian Hallmichael. 3 points behind that is Peter Jones. And then 22nd, Jan Weiswanger with 70 points in total. Orlando Herald, 23rd. Oliver Teglu's 24th. Christian Ribeiro is 25th. He's going to be looking to try and pass Oliver as soon as he can. And Tyne van den Wittenbauer, Thomas Berlin down there in 26th and 27th place, with Esben Kim Jan, Jack Lewin and Samuel Tully rounding off the field at the bottom end. And that is how the championship standings are looking at the moment. Oran Park was a very, very interesting round. Qualifying has begun, and we are waiting for some times to go on the board. I'm not sure who to jump on board with. Let's go and have a look at Jeremy Agard. He seems to be setting some purple sectors, as does Jake Cranston. I said we'll jump on board. Let's do that. Let's jump on board. So, here we go. This is Jeremy Agard, currently following Kieran Dempsey up the road. So looking like he's trying to get that slipstream. And that, well, it's the smartest thing you can do, isn't it? That's what Road America is all about. Let's see if I've missed any comments. Equal Argonaut, how are you all doing tonight? Good to see you. And Sway London says, hello all. A lot of Twitch viewers today. YouTube chat, you are going to have to keep up with them by getting your comments in, getting involved. But here we go then. So this will be Jeremy's first time lap, I believe. He's set a yellow sector there, as opposed to the purples that we saw earlier, although someone has beaten his purple times now by the looks of the box at the bottom. So we're coming across the line now, and this will be the first oh, he's having a bit of a blinking moment. Here he goes, first across the line. Kieran Dempsey 234.9, and Jeremy Agard puts it on pole currently with a 234.6, 0.3 of a second ahead. So it's a good lap time. It's a good start to get into the 234s as well. 235.0 was the... Whoa, just as I'm saying that, Jake Cranston pulls in a 233.9. That is madness. I have not seen that lap time. Do you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that he is done. I don't think he's going to go back out again. because that is a ridiculous lap time. And Joshua Germany goes up into second place with a 2:34.3. Henry Morse, 2:34.4. That's 3 Pulsars cars up in the top 5. Jeremy Agard splitting the 3 cars. That means they're all slipstreaming each other, I would imagine. Yet you can see all 3 cars there. It looks like Josh is pulling over, I'm guessing. Oh, Tyne van den Wittenbauer goes off the track, parks next to him, spins in front. That's dangerous. Could be a penalty. That's not the qualifying conduct that we want to see, especially if that hindered anyone's laps. But who knows if it did or not. I'm sure we'll find out. Well, 17 times on the board. And it's looking extremely close. Genuinely really impressed with that lap time, though. 2:33.9. I was about to say low 2:35s and maybe at high 2:34s is the pace without slipstream for the Simlab Production Car Challenge next week. Or this week coming. But with slipstream, if qualifying was open, it turns out apparently you can do 2-minute 33s around this track. Conditions must be good. And we've got a load of low 2:34s. In fact, let's have a look if we can see the gap between these drivers. That is the gap currently. 4 tenths off of pole is Joshua Germany. And then the gap between Morgan Burkhardt and pole is currently nearly 4 seconds. So he'll be looking to improve. That's for sure. Where is Morgan Burkhardt? I'm sure he's still going around. He's got a train behind him. There they are. Come on, Team ORD, says Cadred. So he is rooting for the Chrome ORD boys. We've got quite a few opting not to set lap times at the moment, although that is Ray Oliver behind Morgan there, so he'll be setting a lap time as Orlando Herrell goes above Morgan to take 17th place. I was going to say something about wins earlier, so someone's gone off. That was a Meatball Lovers car. In terms of the championship so far, let's throw some stats out there for you. Jake Cranston has currently got the most amount of wins. Unsurprising, really, when you see that he is on top of the championship so far. He's got 5 wins in total. That is both sprint and feature mixed into there. Behind that, we have 3 wins each for Henry Morse and Stephen King. Charles Rainford took 2 in 1 round, and John Bailiff is your last race winner with 1 win. And that is qualifying over. That happened quick. Qualifying is done. Can't wait to get on Road America in SimLab cars, says Andy Biz. I'll tell you what we need to have a look at, though. We need to get that grid up before the race starts. And here it is. Jake Cranston takes pole position. Joshua Germany is starting in second place. He wants a strong result here, does Josh. He's had a couple of poor runs, and he'll be looking to claim as many points as he can. Henry Morse is right behind him in 3rd. Jeremy Agard 4th, and Stephen King in 5th. Kieran Dempsey takes 6th. Tyne van den Wittenbauer is up there in 7th. Sebastian Hallmichael was up there in 8th. John Bailiff 9th, and Ryan Smith rounding off the top 10 with Donny Alpha Henriksen and Christopher Smith there in the next 2 rows, the 6th row, as it were. Next up, Dan Thornton and Nicola Quay, 13th and 14th. Christian Ribeiro, 15th. Jan Weiswanger, 16th. Orlando Herrell, 17th. Morgan Burkhardt, 18th. Ray Oliver, 19th. Couldn't get a lap in the end. Jared Kaler, 20th. Martin Wallace, 21st. And Andy Fox, 22nd. Peter Jones, 23rd. Jesus Mundre, 24th. And Thomas Berlin in 25th. The Winner or Bennett team looking like they need to get some points on the board, and they are starting that far back. It looks like they couldn't get any laps in. Ellen Brown is watching on YouTube today, so the YouTube commenters are starting to come in. This is good to see. But Ellen Brown is obviously cheering for Mr. Cranston. He's on pole position. He's in prime place. And we are getting ready for the start of this race. Trying to think, what is the best view? This will give us a good shot, I guess, of the start. Thank you to all of you who have joined us for this first sprint race. For those of you that don't know the format, 8 minutes qualifying's over. It's a 15-minute sprint race now, followed by a quick break and then a 25-minute feature as the lights come on. Jake Cranston is on pole position as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are on here at Road America, and that looks like some jump starts back there for Tyne and Seb. That's going to be a big penalty for those two. Jake Cranston gets a good start, but is he going to come under pressure from Joshua Germany as they head down towards turn 1? He looks like he's going to try around the outside. Henry Morse hasn't had a great start as Jeremy has a bit of a blink, and we've got 2 Pulsars cars now on the inside. Josh brakes slightly early, tucks in behind. He's not making that move that early. So Jeremy having a bit of a blinking session. That's Stephen King behind, being extra cautious. Tyne van den Wittenbauer and Seb, keep an eye on them because you've got to say that they potentially are going to have a drive-through penalty. It's coming up that someone's had an issue. Let's have a quick look if we can see a crash. Jared Kaler goes round, takes out Jan Weiswanger with, and that was contact with Andy Fox around turn 1, and he's spun. That's unfortunate for Jared. He is going to be, he was looking for a good result here. Let's have one more look at that and see if we can see how that started. So they're coming round into turn 1, and it just looks like Andy's started to turn in. Jared goes round. That, we're going to have to look at that after the race, I reckon, because that's going to be too hard to call live. Let's have a look what is happening up front, though, as they all start come flying round these little sections. Kaderez said it's lights out and we're go, go, go. Yes, it is, but these 5, well, I say 5, there's still a big old train behind him. You can see the gaps on the left-hand side. Ray Oliver's had an off-track somewhere. I wonder how far down he was down there anyway, wasn't he? He didn't get a lap together. Ooh, that's 83. That'll be Dan Thornton, I think, going round. That again, this contact is bemusing. Or was it Christopher Smith that went off there? Christopher Smith is the number 83 car. Coming down into the heavy braking zone. Is he going to get a touch from behind? Potentially. Dan Thornton, yep, locks up his brakes, tags Chris. Chris goes round. Ika has to brake. Ray Oliver has to brake. They're both on the grass, so Ray's actually avoided Ika there and then comes back on. Ika's a passenger in the end, but Chris is out. Dan Thornton manages to squeeze through. Is Chris going to get in the way of Morgan? Morgan often gets collected. No, they are safe. We need to go back live and see what is happening. Have we missed anything else? I think Morgan's had another off track somewhere, but at the front, it's still the same order. Jake Cranston in the lead, Joshua Germany in second, Henry Morse in third, Jeremy Agard fourth, and Stephen King in fifth. Tyne van den Wittenbauer has had an off back there. Has he had contact? Or has he made it himself? It looks like he's going to break on the grass. And he hits. Oh, that was a big hit into the Pulsars car from behind. That'll be Stephen thinking, what is he doing? The Pennzoil car off the track and then back on. Oh, right in traffic. That's looked slightly dodgy. I haven't seen a drive-through yet. I'm sure I saw some smoke from the wheels before the lights went out. I'm surprised that Seb and Tyne haven't had to pit. Well, Tyne's in the pits now, as is Ika, Ray and Jan. I don't know if they've given up early or they would have had meatballs from the contact. That's more likely. It's going to be meatball contact, of course. Stephen King, look at that rear end. Nice and damaged. What a re-entry, guys. This front Master Greg, dangerous re-entry. Yes, it did look quite dangerous as everyone was coming flying through. Was perpendicular to the track, but at the same time, it's a fast right-hander. But he has ended up in the pits for Tyne van den Wittenbauer. Martin Wallace, currently up 2 places, down the back end of the field. I know there's a few people out there rooting for Martin. You can see here he's chasing down Thomas Berlin up ahead. Is he going to have a look up the inside of technically turn 5, but I would call it turn 3 because that's a long straight before. He doesn't quite get the move done this time round. That's Jared Kaler still behind, and Jesus Amundere, the number 19 car, behind him as well. Come on, Martin. I'm sure they're rooting for you as the viewers are pouring in to join us once again for the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. So this is all for 18th and 19th place, but this train goes all the way. The gaps aren't massive. Everyone's still, well, apart from the few crashes that we've seen, everyone's still relatively in the train. There's a bit of a gap forming with Christian Ribeiro and Andy Fox up ahead of him. So that's one of the biggest gaps. And Dan Thornton up ahead, who's a few seconds behind the main train. Alpha Henriksen there is the last of this main train, and then Dan Thornton a little bit further back. You should see entering your screen shortly in the background. There he is with Morgan Burkhardt. Is all over the back of him as Chris Smith's coming through as well. Is he going to have a bit of teamwork here as they come side by side into the right-hander? So Morgan hasn't pulled out. Chris is making them well aware that he's on the inside, and he's going to get it done. What a move by Chris. That's going to be 2 in 1. Dan's got damage on the rear. That's Morgan probably getting impatient. So Dan maybe broke early there. Now they're going to go side by side into the left-hander. Chris and Morgan into the fast left-hander, going towards the final corner, towards the main straight now. Who's going to come out on top? Morgan is going to take the lead in this battle as Andy gets an opportunistic move there in the back. On to Dan Thornton, who has to use all the track after potential contact into that right-hander. Chris Smith, though, now right behind Morgan, looking to get the slipstream into turn 1. He pulls out to the right-hand side. It's a right-hander for turn 1, so that is the inside, but it is a fast right-hander. So can Morgan hold it around the outside and keep that position? You can see the lead train up ahead. You've got to say that slipstream train's broken, but now the second one is forming. Nicholas says, send it, Jesus. We don't want him to send it too hard. He'll take a lot of people out. He's currently down in 21st place, looking to get that final point on the order, but he is right behind Jared. Chris Smith keeps this position. He's moved up. He's past Morgan Burkhardt. Dan Thornton's still in the race. Andy Fox still behind him. Christian Ribeiro is in 15th place. He's in this train, as is Orlando Herald, Peter Jones, Thomas Berlin and Martin Wallace behind them. John Bailiff's had an off track somewhere. Let's see how that happened. Is that down in turn 5? This is John now into a right-hander. Is he going to go wide on the exit? Yes. Minuscule amount of off track there. Comes back on nicely. Joins the train. This is back live. Dan Thornton pulls a move on Morgan Burkhardt, who gets sent, well, to the next realm on turn 5 there. But you got to say, it looked like Dan had the inside line. As Andy now up the inside of Dan. These guys fully going at it, door to door, proper touring car stuff. Now into the fast right. It's dangerous for Andy to be on the outside there. There's enough room. Good respect between those two drivers. Andy is now coming down towards the left-hander. He's on the inside for this. Morgan tucks in behind Dan Thornton. Pulls out late there. There might be a bit of contact. Look, Morgan still, he's going to have to try and hold it around the outside of the carousel. That's going to be a hell of a move if he can try and pull that off. I'm not sure I've seen it done. Morgan carrying much more speed in this to the entry phase than Dan up ahead, but Andy Fox now clear and is going to start to try and pull away. Dan being the cork in the bottle today. Ray Oliver has had a crash, as Henry Morse has had an off track as well. We need to have a quick look at that. What's Ray done? Has he just pulled over and had enough? He's called it a day, I think, for this race. Yeah, nothing happened to him there, but Henry Morse is one of our leaders. How did he go off track? Into the kink they go, and the trees are going to block our view. It looks like he just carried too much speed into the kink, but gets on nice and safely. Stephen King still tucked behind Jerry Agard there. Now, I'm not even sure what battle to watch anymore. We need to go back live. But we've got the train up ahead, and we've got the second train forming. And we've got you got to say, most of the accidents. Oh, look at the lockup there from Morgan. And one of the Meatball Lovers cars gets a big slide on. Orlando Herald avoids him. Martin Wallace is off the track and avoids him. What a view we had of that, as Jared Kaler's going to go through the middle and make it 3 wide. Are they going to make it 4 wide? Not quite. Jared Kaler's gained a few positions there. Martin has a slow run as Sebastian Hallmichael comes into the pits. Dan Thornton is going to have a look at the inside of Morgan into turn 1. Can he get this done? Remember, the outside line might be more beneficial here at Road America, as you can carry some more speed through. Morgan breaks early, lets him have it, tucks in behind. He's going to stay in that slipstream. We're 8 minutes in, past halfway of this sprint race, and there's loads of action, as it looks like that's a Lurchus gaming car making a move on the All Sports racing car. That will be Jesus. Jesus Amundere is making moves. He's now up into P18. That is a 6th place gain for Jesus there. One of our biggest gainers, but the biggest gainer is also, or was also in this shot, is Andy Fox. Up 11 places so far in this race is Andy, but this train is looking feisty. Jesus is going to try. He's creating expectation from the last part of the championship, says Equal Argonaut. Jesus is going to hold it around the outside of Martin. No, not quite. Can't get it done, but Martin is on the inside of Morgan Burkhardt there as Jared Kaler up ahead. There's a bit of contact. That's not Morgan. That's Orlando Herald there in the middle of this mix. And Peter Jones on the back end of this little train, as there's some passes up ahead as well in the lead battle. It looks like Kieran Dempsey and John Bailiff are going at it. Look at this. This is the top 7. So Kieran Dempsey and John side by side into the carousel. Jeremy Agard has been passed by Stephen King now. And these guys fully battling through the fast right-hander. It's not a flat-out right-hander, though. Oh, once again, we're being blocked by a car park. But Kieran Dempsey is being chased, hounded by John Bailiff. This is what it looks like on board with John. So, this is how Zomar Gammon says, I am done. You're done. I'm starting to get done. There's so many fights going on. I don't know which one to watch. It's time we watch the lead train, though. It looks like they're playing it smart. The Pulsars car's all together now on track with Jeremy Agard. They're in a Masters of Torque sandwich But you can see Jerry Agard up ahead there. That's Kieran Dempsey in front, and we are on board with John Bailiff coming around the left-hander now. He's looking. He wants to fight. He wants to get past these drivers. Is he going to have a look up the inside of the final corner? No. Tucks in behind. Gets it turned in as Jerry Agard has another blinky moment. I think he's racing on 4G today. Kieran Dempsey tucks in behind. Who's going to pull out and make this move? Has John got the run? Kieran's pulling to the right. Has he pulled out too early there? As you pull out, the wind will just hit the car and stop you from your run. But John's going to now John's pulling even further right. He needs to tuck in behind. Get some slipstream, boy. It looks like he wants to hold this position. 7th place for John Bailiff. He's not making the move yet. He's just going to follow Kieran Dempsey through by the looks of it. Kieran has the inside line for turn 2 now. They're still side by side, and John has chosen the driver he wants to commit to. No. Moves to the left and follows Jerry Agard through. Gets very close to Jerry there on the entrance to turn 2. That's what we call a little bump and run, except there was no run needed as now he's still behind him. Donny Alpha Henriksen has got this view. There's John Bailiff on the left, and that is Ryan Smith up ahead, who is now behind Kieran Dempsey. So it's side by side in a train of 5 cars down towards turn 5. The heaviest braking zone on the circuit is turn 5. Who's going to come out atop in this battle? Here's what it looks like from outside. Kieran is still in the lead. John tucks back behind Jerry. Ryan's still on the outside. They're going to continue side by side into the left-hander. This is madness. It looks like Ryan's got the run, though. Yes, Ryan has made it past. Jerry Agard now down to 7th. Ryan up into 6th place, as is Kieran Dempsey up into 5th. So Jerry currently losing places left, right and centre as there's more battling going on behind. You guys are going to have to keep an eye on that timing tower whilst we're watching this racing, because obviously there's some more stuff going on. Ray Oliver out of the race, and Tyne van den Wittenbauer out of the race, and Sebastian Hallmichael we saw come into the pits as well, but still out on track and still racing. Thomas Berling currently in 22nd. Jan Weiswanger 6 seconds up the road from him. And Ika Lequay taking the last point of the sprint race so far in 20th place, with Jesus Munda up ahead of him. But the highest Lurchus Gaming car is none other than Christian Ribeiro in 15th place. So he's having a decent race. Looks like Thomas has had a little bit of an off track, as has Jesus, as has Peter. I wonder if that was an issue together. Let's have a quick look. So this is Peter, Orlando and Martin. Peter just carried too much speed onto the gravel. Orlando gets right over to the left. He was having no part of that. It fully lets him rejoin, so Orlando gains that position. Is Martin going to be able to hold it around the outside of the carousel? Doesn't look like it. Looks like Peter might keep that position. Good effort, Peter. There we go. Tormint has popped into Twitch and says, hey, good to see you, Tormint. Thank you for joining. Big fan of this channel. We know you are. We've seen you. Well, actually, we haven't seen you for a while, Tormint. I'm sure chat has missed you. Here we go then. We're still watching the battle here from 5th down to John Bailiff. That's 9th place. But you've got to say, the lead battle is just as close. This is what it looks like. Henry Morse looks like he's making a move on Josh here, up into 2nd place. These guys aren't going to want to fight each other too much. There's 3 Pulsar cars in the top 4. How many times have we said there's always one car not doing very well? And you watch them come together and ruin this race. 13 minutes in, we've got a minute and a half left. Jake Cranston has led this race so far from start to finish, and he's got 3 Pulsar cars bearing down. He had his teammate with him, Jerry Agard, who's now down in P7. Sebastian Hallmichael has had a bit of an issue back there. Was it contact with someone else? Oh, no. That looks like it's in the kink. That would have been a brave move to hold it around the outside. It's a big crash. That's going to be his sprint race over. Back to live. Here we go. Jake Cranston, 4 tenths up the road. Henry Morse right behind him. It's all going to be about slipstream as their gaps have started to form. Christian Ribeiro looks really close. Look at this little fight. Dan Thornton, Jared Kaler, Morgan Burkhardt and Christian Ribeiro are still fighting. We was watching this earlier. And this is what it's going to be like for 25 minutes in the feature races. Peter Jones goes wide in the distance, and Martin Wallace and Jesus are going to get that position by the looks of it. So Peter Jones is going to go down to now 19th place. Christian Ribeiro is looking up the inside of Jared Kaler there. That's going to be risky. Can't quite get it done. Has to back out. Back to the lead battle now. It looks like, don't know what's happened to Josh, but he's backed right off. There's a big gap now between Josh and the lead too, but Henry Morse is all over the back of Jake Cranston as we approach the 15-minute mark. I haven't seen any signs of it being a white flag lap, to be honest, But this could be the final lap as it ticks to 15 minutes. If it isn't, I'm hoping we don't have a similar issue to the Nürburgring where it cuts the session early, because that is not what we want here. The 15-minute timer is out. Henry Morse right behind Jake Cranston now, potentially the last lap. I can't see the white flag. I wonder if they saw it. I should have paid attention on the main straight, as Henry Morse is now, he's going to overtake him before the main straight. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? As they're coming towards the final corner now. It's into a right-hander. Jake Cranston has the inside. He's going to park it on the apex. And look at the run that Joshua Germany's going to have, though. He's closed right up as Jake tries hindering Henry. He moves over. I don't know if this is the last lap, boys. Let's have a look as they come up the hill. Someone will be waving a flag. Is it the checkered flag? It is the checkered flag. This is for the win. Henry Morse once again steals the win on the line of the sprint race by 3/1000ths of a second. Joshua Germany was 1/10 from taking one of his highest finishes. Jake Cranston takes second again, with Stephen King taking P4. Kieran Dempsey P5, Ryan Smith and Jerry Agard, Donny Alpha Henriksen and John Bailiff finishing in the order that we pretty much all saw, as these boys are all still crossing the line at the back. That's Orlando Herald taking 16th place, Martin Wallace there in 17th, Peter Jones 18th, Jesus Amundere and Ika taking the final points. Here's Ika going to cross the line in 20th place. 3/1000ths has to hurt, says Equal Argonaut on Twitch. The thing is, it's all too familiar for Mr. Cranston. Henry Morse has been the sprint race thief, the sprint race stealer. I don't even know. Come up with a nickname for Henry, chat. Come on, YouTube and Twitch. Come up with a nickname for Mr. Morse, because he has stolen many a sprint from Jake Cranston by that margin. We saw it in round one. We've seen it in another round somewhere, I'm sure. We saw it at Nords when Stevie gave him a push past. And now we've seen it again. Perfectly executed. 3/1000ths of a second. The top four separated by 2/10ths of a second is absolute madness. We're now going into that 10-minute break. Henry the sprint ninja, says Equal Argonaut. Well done, Germo. Keep pushing, says Torment. Ellen Brown, shock face, because it has happened again to Mr. Cranston. We need to get those results up and have a look. Now, sometimes, for some reason, these results change that time, but we all saw it as 3/1000ths. Yeah, and as I said, it's changed to 6/1000ths, but that is still a very, very close finish, even if it has adjusted it slightly. 6/1000ths, 15 minutes of racing for a finish that close, says Cadered. Shock face. Don't know if I took Seb out, says Paddy. We did see it, and it's something that we're going to have to watch after the race. It was touch or go watching it live, Paddy. It was into the kink, wasn't it? So, brave move to try around the outside regardless. For some reason, it's saying Stephen King was 4/10ths back when we saw it was 2/10ths. So the top four separated by a very close margin. Henry Morse takes the win. Jake Cranston takes second. That was very nearly a Pulsus 1, 2, 3. That is on their target list, I believe. And they needed it. That looked like a good opportunity for it. Wow, so close, G. Finish, Mr. Morse. Really good finish from Mr. Morse. Has the winner's code. Think he turned into me, but no idea. He certainly doesn't drive like Inspector Morse. Kieran Dempsey, top 5. Ryan Smith, Jerry Agard, Donny Alpha Henriksen, John Bailiff, and Chris Smith is your top 10. A good race for Chris Smith, actually. After last time out, probably one of his worst rounds. So back into the top 10. And don't forget, the sprint race is over. Feature race on the way, 25 minutes. It's a reverse grid pole down to the top 12. So Dan Thornton, I mean, he'll be happy about this, but also a little bit sad. He's been up there a few times now. He's on pole for the feature race. How long can he keep it? Andy Fox is going to start second, and Chris Smith is going to start third for the feature race. Morgan Burkhardt missed out on pole by a tiny margin. He's going to be starting 13th. Jared Kaler 14th. Christian Rivera 15th. Orlando Herald 16th. Martin Wallace 17th. Peter Jones 18th. The rest of the results, please, are... Why is it not? There we go. Jesus Amundere, Ika Lequay, Jan Weiswanger, Thomas Berlin, Sebastian Hall, Michael Ray Oliver, and Tyne van den Wittenbauer. Poor result for Ray. He's going to want to improve that. Is he going to take it extra cautious in this next round? Thankfully, he didn't see me get the meatball. Saw a few people pit, though. 27 years and 2 days since Ayrton Senna's accident. It was Equal Argonaut. Good facts, actually. Feel free to put any facts that you want into chat, and I will read them out, obviously, if they're appropriate. We need to get some interviews done, I think. got a few people in the driver's room. I think, well, we're used to it. We're used to speaking to him. It's got to be, let's drag our race winner, once again, the sprint race winner, Henry Morse. Hang on, Henry, your new nickname given to you by Equal Argonaut in the Twitch chat, the Henry Sprint Ninja. Because once again, you've stolen a sprint win from Jake Cranston in the closing stages of the race by 0.003 of a second.
Yeah, that was an awesome run. I was super happy for my teammates. Firstly, that we qualified really strongly as a team, and then I was content to just hang around behind Josh as long as he was keeping up with the lead. And then I made the call based on how he was running throughout the race that I thought I had a better shot at Jake than he did. So I went for it in the last lap, and you saw it worked out. I wasn't planning on the margin being so small, but it worked out, so couldn't be happier.
It was very small, and it looked like, I mean, Jake's obviously no slouch. He's been up there regularly, and it was clear that he was going to try in some sort of park on the apex of the final corner and try and hold you around the outside to affect your run. Which it looked like he kind of tried that, and it didn't work in this case. But at the same time, it really closed Josh back up, and it looked like he might have had the run for the win, but it just didn't work out that way this time.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't know how it was all going to end, but I had just enough room to squeeze through there, and super happy for the team. I think Steve ended up getting a place in the last couple of laps, so that was cool. And yeah, super great point for the team.
Very close to a 1-2-3. And like you said, a good result for the team. And good to see you back up here. But the feature race next, you're going to be starting in 12th. Similar race or Carnage? What do you reckon?
Oh, I would have to say, what usually happens, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the feature does get a little bit more feisty for whatever reason, even though there's double points on board. But congratulations on your win. Just in case we don't speak to you again, is there anyone you want to say thank you to or hello to?
I want to say hello to my family who I sent the stream to. If you're watching now or when I show you the replay later, thanks for supporting. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Henry. We'll speak to you soon.
All right, bye.
Henry Morse there, our sprint race winner. It was massive netcode, says Paddy. GG to Henry, says Valdez31. And Cadared says, fact, 89% of statistics are made up on the spot. I don't know what to say to that, to be honest. I'm sure there's a smart answer there somewhere. But I am not feeling witty enough to come back to that. We have got time for one more interview. Let's have a look and see who is around for a quick chat. Joshua German. Jake Cranston not in here at the moment. He's focusing on his sprint, his feature race next, where he'll be starting in 11th place. Might be worth having a quick chat to... No, I'll tell you what. We haven't spoke to him in a while. Let's have a quick chat to Joshua Germany. He finished in 3rd place. It was only 1/10 of a second to the win. How are you feeling after your best result in a while, Joshua Germany?
I don't care about me. I care more about Henry. Oh, you should have... Oh, me and Stevie, it was like we're at a football game. We were both sat behind him, and he sort of spooked Jake at the end of the long straight and caused him to lock up, and we were both just screaming, just shouting, go on. And when I came through the last corner, I was doing like the karting where you'd lean backwards and forwards and tuck in so I could try and give Henry a bump over the line, but he didn't need it, did he?
Well, it might have helped him a little bit more. 0.003 I think we saw on the original timing screen. When they crossed the line, it was extremely close, and we've seen him do it a number of times to Jake now in the sprint races. At one point, though, I know you said you care more about Henry in this case, and it was a good result for the team. But at one point, it looked like, because Jake went to hold up Henry into the final corner, which allowed you to close right up, and I thought that you might actually have the run for the win. Did it enter your mind to try and pass them both, or you just wanted to push your teammate across the line?
I was more worried about not hitting them, to be honest, going to the last corner. Because I was following Jake for so long, I didn't notice in the last corner he was braking so early compared to compared to me, and he never really got the run for it. So going into the last corner, I did stick behind Henry on purpose, so I didn't hit Jake. So I imagined he'd take the earlier braking zone he was doing before, but he didn't. So it didn't really benefit me. I was probably better going up the inside, but to be honest, I'd have probably backed off and give Henry the nudge instead, because I would have been too far back anyway.
Very nearly ticked off a goal today in the sprint race of a Pulsar
Yes.
1, 2, 3. It was very close. Not over. What are we expecting for the feature race?
I just don't want to die. Hopefully I can try and just stick with the cars in front and maybe stick with Stevie, because he's obviously starting one position in front of me. Hopefully I can just stick behind him and follow him through.
Of course, and Jake's looking a little bit outnumbered today in terms of cars around him. He's got 3 Pulsars cars around him. He's going to be starting in 11th, but you have got Jerry Agard up the road, one of the other Masters of Torque cars. He's going to be starting in about 6th place, I think. So I wish you the best of luck. Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you
go? No.
Wow. Man of many words is Joshua Germany. We'll say goodbye and speak to you soon, hopefully, Josh.
Cheers, mate. See you, mate.
There we go. That's a that's a lonely man. Has no one to say thank you to. I'm sure he's fine. We'll check up on him afterwards. Right, it's time. It is getting time for the feature. The grid should be up. We need to get rid of the results so that we can see it. We're no longer in interview time. Get rid of Joshua Germany's name. This is today's grid. Dan Thornton starts pole. Andy Fox is starting 2nd. Christopher Smith is starting in 3rd. John Bailiff 4th. Donny Alpha Henriksen 5th. Jeremy Agard 6th. Ryan Smith 7th. Kieran Dempsey 8th. Stephen King 9th. Joshua Germany 10th. Jake Cranston 11th. And Henry Morse is starting in 12th place. 13th for Morgan Burkhardt. Jared Kaler 14th. Christian Ribeiro 15th. Orlando Herald 16th. Martin Wallace 17th. Peter Jones, Jesus Mundere and Ika Lequay round off your top 20. Jan Weiswanger and Thomas Berlin 21st, 22nd. Sebastian Hallmichael, Ray Oliver and Tyne van den Wittenbauer there at the back end of the grid. And now it is time for the race start. I didn't see anyone pull in the pits for a jump start earlier. And now here we are. Dan Thornton leads the whole pack in the feature. The lights are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And they're off. It is go, go, go. Let's have a look. No one jumped the start today. That's good to see. The Pulsars cars had a good start back there, as did Jake, who tucks in behind one of the 2 cars. I can't see them from up here, but they head towards turn 1. There's a couple of 2x2s. You don't want to battle this early on. Andy Fox is going to look for a move straight away. Not quite. Chris Smith goes around the outside of turn 1. Is he going to get that move done? That's Dan Thornton in the lead. Chris Smith still around the outside of Andy Fox behind. There they are. And Alpha Henriksen around the outside of John Bailiff. He backs out of that, tucks in behind. John Bailiff up the inside of Chris Smith. Goes up into 3rd place. Alpha Henriksen goes past 2, up into 4th place. And that is Jerry Agard going up into 5th. Chris had a terrible run out of turn 2. So Chris tumbling down the order, but no accident this time. Kieran Dempsey's going to race him down to turn 5. This is the heaviest braking zone on the track. We've said it already. Chris Smith there in the middle of this little gaggle of cars, the spaghetti of Jettas that you see coming down this long straight. Everyone trying to play it safe, actually. John Bailiff gets a little rub there from Donny Alpha Henriksen as he goes wide. People using all the track available. That's Morgan Burkhardt as well in the back end. Ray Oliver has a bit of contact with Tyne van den Wittenbauer in the background. Getting very tight through that left-hander. Alpha Henriksen, though, slots in nicely. He looks like he's solidly in 4th place as Chris Smith is still battling now with Ryan Smith. And that is Stephen King, the lead car of the Pulsar boys now. I wonder if that's team play, but it can't be because it's Jake Cranston right behind Stephen who's looking up the inside. Jake Cranston's looking at making moves. He's now going to be on the outside of the carousel. I wonder how this is going to play out. Are they going to continue this battle all the way around? Jake Cranston going to take the wider line. Is he going to get a run out towards the kink? Morgan Burkhardt in between the other 2 Pulsars boys. And that's Henry and Josh behind. Jared Kaler behind them. Jake Cranston behind Stephen King now. Stephen, is he going to put on the defense of his life as he did round Oran Park? This is the championship battle we're watching now. The 2 championship leaders next to each other on track in 9th and 10th place, looking to make as many gains as they can, but they don't want to lose the train ahead, I am sure, because it costs points for everybody. That is Ryan and Chris Smith up ahead as they're still battling. Alpha Henriksen is making moves. That's past Dan Thornton. Oh, they're still side by side though. This move is not done by any means as they go towards the left-hander. Alpha Henriksen now on the inside for the final corner. Here they go into the right-hander. Dan Thornton round the outside. Is he going to try and hold it? He's going to try. He's got his nose still there, and now he goes to the right-hand side. Jerry Agard looking to gain as many positions as he can as they come down this main straight. Now look at them. Look at the solid line of Jettas as they come up the hill, over the crest, and across the line for this first lap. 2 minutes 45 into the race, out of 25 minutes. Don't forget, there is a pit stop in this race, but you've got 2 Win It or Bin It cars in the lead as John Bailiff is now moving into first place. Andy Fox, that didn't look very difficult for John, possibly letting him go. John Bailiff trying to get a feature race win. I think his last win was actually a sprint race, so this will be a big points haul for John. His first feature race win. Jerry Agard is looking up the inside. The inside of Dan Thornton into turn 2. Oh, is he going to do that? He is. He's still there. And now Kieran Dempsey's going to try and follow him through from behind. Let's have a look at that a bit closer. There's Jerry Agard. He's going to move over to the left. He's got that move done. Can he stop Dan from getting back past as they head down towards the sharp left-hander, the heavy braking zone as the 3 at the top try breaking away. 3 ORD cars all on the same bit of tarmac now. We've got another team involved. So Dan Thornton is on the inside of Jerry Agard. Doesn't quite make it stick. Kieran turns in. Has a bit of a slide. That was Kieran's fault. Dan was there. Oh, Dan moves over on him there just to show him that he is still there. Looks like they're trying to take the last parking spot on the beach on a hot sunny day, says Equal Argonaut. Well, oh, there goes someone. That's not Dan Thornton. Was it an ORD car? It was Chris Smith. Oh, Cadared, I know you're not going to be gutted to see that. It's another issue for Chris as he goes flying off the track back there. Let's see if we can have a quick replay of that. Oh, he's already off the track there. Oh, it's not going to be contact with his teammate. It might be. Ryan's on the inside. He's going to hit the rear of Chris. That is going to send Chris round. Unfortunate contact from the teammates there. Ryan will be very apologetic, I'm sure. As Chris tries saving it, he has to go off the track. That's a shame, that is. A bit of a touch there. Liz Create says, come on, ORD. Dan Thornton still the lead car for the team up there in 5th place as we see people come flying through. We are now back live, approaching the 5-minute mark of this race on lap 2. That's John Bailiff in the lead, Andy Fox behind, Alpha Henriksen behind him, and Jerry Agard in 4th place as Dan Thornton has a bit of an off-track moment there with Kieran Dempsey right behind him. Stephen King, I'll tell you what I did miss. Jake Cranston's tumbled down the order a little bit. I wonder if there was a bit of contact there between Stephen and Jake as they were battling tightly at one point. Let's see if I can find that, because that'll be interesting to see as we are currently watching Kieran chase down Dan now on the main straight once again. Stephen well in the slipstream of Kieran Dempsey up ahead. Sorry, it's difficult to watch the race and try and find something at the same time. It can't have happened that long ago. What happened to Jake Cranston? Let's have a quick look at this. This will be earlier on. This is when Jake passed him, or went to pass him, then hold it round the outside. Nothing happening here. Jake Cranston is going to have... Oh, this is into turn... I don't even know what turn number this is anymore, but they're still side by side. Now they're heading towards the carousel. I don't know what happened to Jake. I really can't see. We can't spend too much time looking at it. It looks like he's just been barged down the order. I don't think he's had many issues. He's just losing places left, right and centre by leaving the train. I'll tell you what has happened though. Martin Wallace has had an issue. What happened to Martin? Has he carried too much speed somewhere? He has. He's spun by himself as Martin. It corrects Jesus, who was very lucky not to die there effectively. Zero Forksgiving Racing will be disappointed to see that. He just got on the grass and the car spun round. At this point though, he might be able to get into the pits and continue with his race and not have to do a double stop. As we go back to the live action, Dan Thornton now under pressure from Stephen King as Kieran Dempsey has passed him. So Stephen now the one looking to pass Dan, who's currently in 6th place. He's got Ryan right behind him and Morgan Burkhardt right behind him as well. Team play can definitely come into this now as Henry is ahead of Jake. Josh is still trying to hold on to that train, but he's not quite there. He's about 1 second back. He is still in the slipstream though, so he'll be looking to close that gap, I'm sure. Currently in 12th place is Josh. He'll be disappointed with that after, well, starting around that area. I can't get over how Yeezus is still in the race. Well, he's down in 23rd, so maybe he has a meatball. He has gone off track there. Somewhere down there as Stephen King is up the inside. Now he's going to be on the outside of Dan Thornton. This is going to get feisty through here. Is he going to have to tuck in behind? No, he tries holding it around the outside. They're approaching the final corner. We've seen how feisty Ryan's been today. He has taken out one of his teammates. Oh, a bit of contact there with Morgan Burkhardt. I say taken out. Of course it was an accident. It was not malicious at all. But Stephen King now on the inside line and has done that move up on Dan Thornton, now up into 6th place. Up in the lead though, Alpha Henriksen is now up into P2 ahead of Andy Fox, and he's chasing down John Bailiff for the lead. He's going to go and have a look around the outside of turn 1 is Donny Alpha Henriksen. As you can see, Stephen in the background defending from Ryan and Henry back there. Can Donny hold it around the outside? He's still there. He carries the speed. No. John Bailiff tucks in front and keeps the lead now, and Andy Fox is going to come back at him. He's on the inside for turn 2. Alpha Henriksen going to go back down to 3rd place, while Jerry Agard is sitting pretty in 4th, waiting for something to happen. Can Jerry get the run? He looks like he's got a better exit than Donny there, as Kieran's still watching. Kieran's in a little land of his own back there. Look, there he is with a big old train behind him. A double train as Dan is making moves. He's trying to get the move back on Stephen King. Morgan Burkhardt's pushing him down the straight. Ryan's going to have to do the same to Stephen if he wants to get anywhere. And that is Jake Cranston getting pushed by Joshua Germany. That's the wrong team, sir. You don't want to be helping out. Stephen King is on the outside of Dan. Can he hold it around this tight left-hander? That's going to be a move if he does. It's 2x2 as they come through the tight left. There was a bit of contact back there. Someone may have span. You can see the smoke. It was a big old lockup. Stephen King does tuck in front and gets that move done as Dan Thornton now is on the outside for this right-hander, and Ryan Smith is going to go up the inside. Morgan Burkhardt's going to follow him through. Dan is going to lose a lot of places here because he is offline and the train is coming through. Jake Cranston switches to the inside. They're going to go 3 wide into the left-hander. That's going to be dangerous. Jake's going to have to back out of it. He does. Henry Morse, that is there. The number 14 car is now on the inside of Jake Cranston as they come round the carousel. Here they go. You can see it there. That's a clear view. Henry Morse keeps that position. Jake tucks in behind. That is for P11 still, as Joshua Germany is behind Jared Kaler in P13. So Josh is actually losing position somehow. His pace has gone from the sprint race. He did have pace earlier. Where is it? Is he just sitting pretty and waiting for the slipstream to come into effect? Down the bottom end of the field, the last point scorer at the moment is Tyne van den Wittenbauer, who's up 5 places. Sebastian Hallmichael's up 4, and Ray Oliver is up into 18th, up 6 places. Our biggest race gainer so far. Donny Alpha Henriksen, as we saw, went back down to P3. Look how close they're getting through here. Henry Morse is going to be defending for his life, but at the same time he needs to be attacking. Jake is going to have a look around the outside of this left-hander. That's going to be putting himself at risk. Dan is doing everything he can to hold as many points as he can as they approach the final right-hander here. Henry opens up the right-hander to try and get a good exit. Jake can't open it up as much as Jared is on his outside, so he's ruined his line there as someone comes into the pits. Is that Dan Thornton? Dan Thornton is coming into the pits. We need the track map. Let's have a look. Yes, there we go. Now we can see everybody. Wow, coming down the main straight. In they go. Oh, it's getting tight through here. Sorry, I was getting distracted. Three wide. Sorry about that, people. I had a bit of an issue on my end. But here we are. Jake Cranston in the lead. Not in the lead. He's in the lead of this train. He's in 5th place currently. Jared Kaler right behind him, and Joshua Germany right behind him. So it's really close between these boys up the front. And now that the pits have started getting involved, we got Ryan Smith in the lead under pressure from Stephen King. So Ryan Smith has made some moves here. He's actually gained a position. These guys haven't stopped yet, of course. We can have a look at the pit stops. Here we go. And that shows you how many people have stopped. John Bailiff has stopped. Donny Alpha Henriksen has stopped. Andy Fox and Jeremy Agard. So the top 4 are all pitted then at the 11-minute mark. I think my issues have been sorted this end. If you want to jump in chat and let me know that I can still see you guys, that would be great. As Ryan Smith is now currently in the lead, but he's got Stephen King. Christina Morse. Morse is catching up. Yes, he is. He's on the back end of this train. Morgan Burkhardt there in P3 has Henry Morse for company on the inside of the carousel. can't quite get his nose in, can Henry, as he chases down Stephen King and Ryan Smith. It's important that they don't lose time here with the leaders in the pits. They could be in danger of an undercut here at Road America. Pit stops have been extremely important in all of the races that we've seen so far, but at the same time, it allows some people on the order on the left-hand side to climb. We can see Thomas Berlin and Nika Lequay up in 11th and 12th now, who haven't stopped yet. But Ryan Smith, under all the pressure, just leading this train. They need to be careful. They can't lose much time. Keep an eye on the track map on the right-hand side as these boys come in the pits. The red JB that's just come out the exit of the carousel, that's John Bailiff. He was our race leader, who's under pressure from Donny Alfa Henriksen, about a second behind, who has Andy Fox for company, half a second behind him, who has Jeremy Agard, 1/10, 2/10 behind him, and Kieran Dempsey closed that gap right up in the pit stops. He's now on that train as well. Are these guys going to come in? It looks like it. Ryan goes in, Morgan goes in, Jake goes in, and so does Joshua Germany, but Stephen King and Henry Morse, importantly, they stay out. Unbelievable. So they're going a different route on the whole strategy. Ray Oliver's up there as well in P4, only 2 seconds behind this lead train, who also haven't pit yet. This is going to be really interesting to see where people come out. I'll tell you what, though, we need to have a look at John Bailiff and the lads as they're coming down. They're coming down the main straight now as these guys are all coming into their pit stops. You should see John Bailiff coming over the brow of the hill now with Donny Alfa Henriksen. Cadered says, can hear me okay, that's great. Alfa Henriksen, Andy Fox, Kieran Dempsey past Jeremy Agard. They're coming through. And it looks like they're going to take the lead back. So everybody else is currently in the pit exit. You can see them leaving there. Morgan Burkhardt, Ryan Smith, Joshua Germany, and Jake Cranston. Josh Germany, has he made an error there? But he's passed Jake Cranston in the pit stop phase. Dan Thornton there behind, who also pitted, and Chris Smith, who is still in the race after an earlier off track. All eyes up front. Stephen King, Henry Morse, Jared Kaler. These guys have not pit yet. Neither has Ray Oliver, Orlando Herrell, and Sebastian Hallmichael. You can just see in the distance, and Thomas Berlin about 5 seconds back from those guys. You can see on the track map where everybody is. You've got to say, though, the John Bailiff train is currently flying, but it looks like Donny Alfa Henriksen might be making a move. He's looking around the outside of turn 5, this is. He can't quite get it done, and he sticks his nose in. That was a bit dangerous. A bit of contact from Kieran behind, who didn't expect it. John keeps the lead. Donny is all over John Bailiff here, fighting for the net lead right now as these guys have made their stops and the guys up ahead have not. Only 16 seconds behind Thomas Berlin is John Bailiff. This little train of 5 is currently our lead train. Morgan Burkhardt is the other group that has pitted. He is leading this little train back here with Ryan Smith, Joshua Germany, and Jake Cranston. Morgan making that Jetta as wide as he can. He's trying to keep that position as much as he can. There's some positions up for grabs as we see Stephen King and Henry Morse and Jared Kaler smartly driving. Jared Kaler is a friend of Henry Morse. I should point that out. Not in the same team, but they are well connected outside. They're probably in a chat together, actually. I don't see Henry in the Pulses chat, but they're coming into the final section now, and Ray Oliver is currently up 20 places into P4. I'll tell you what, if this strategy works for Ray, I'll be over the moon. He deserves it. He's had a couple of poor races, and obviously the sprint race was no different. He had an issue there where he ended up not finishing. He just pulled out and gave up at that time. But as I said, this train is flying. John Bailiff still the lead of this train. They can't battle too much. The more Donny battles with John up ahead, the more time they lose to that little train, which is now in the pits. Stephen King, Henry Morse, Jared Kaler, Ray Oliver, Orlando Herrell, Sebastian Hallmichael. That is everybody. I can turn the pit stop thing off now. Everybody has now stopped. John Bailiff and that lot, they're on the main straight. Here they are, coming over the hill now. Oh, you've got to say, they're going to go back into the lead at this point. It looks like... Oh, that's not the camera we wanted. It looks like they are well clear. Donny's going to have a look up the inside. Where are the other boys? You can see them leaving the pits now. I said well clear. The people, Stephen King, everybody else have left the pits, and they're going to come out, do you know what? Further behind than I expected. The undercut has proper worked for Donny Alfa Henriksen, who's just taken the lead of the race. He's on the outside of turn 2. Oh, it's going to be tight through there. John's going to try and keep it. Is he going to run Donny out of road? They're going to give room. Donny tries to get the best run that he can. He's now going to have the inside for turn 5. But Andy Fox is John's teammate, and he's right behind him. I imagine Andy's going to give him a nice little nudge down the straight to try and keep that lead position that John has held for a very long time. But Kieran Dempsey is not a teammate of any of them, and he's going to give Alfa Henriksen the nudge down the straight as Jerry Agard sits pretty and watches the 2x2 battle up ahead. Alpha Henriksen takes the lead. Kieran is going to try and follow him through. He can't quite get it done. John Bailiff tucks in behind Alpha Henriksen and keeps P2. Andy Fox down to P4. That's Stephen King, Jared Kaler and Henry Morse behind. And you can see Jake Cranston on the back end of that train as well, with Joshua Germany up ahead of him. It's battles everywhere. There's trains all over the place. Ray Oliver, we said to keep an eye on. He's up 9 places. Here he is behind Dan Thornton. These two have had a couple of coming togethers, I think, throughout the season so far. Ray being our Australian driver, so netcode being an issue sometimes, but Ray looking to gain as many places as he can today in this feature race. If he can gain more, he'll be enjoying himself, I'm sure. Seb has a little bit of an off track back there. Oh, look at that for a switchback. There's the netcode we were talking about. No fault of anyone, that was. You need to give at least a foot of space for Ray and Dan there. That was not anyone's fault, that little bit of contact. I hope there was no meatball involved. We know how sensitive these cars were, but they didn't get very close on our screens, but there was contact there due to the, the difference in distance across the world. Australia is very, very far. Alpha Henriksen still defending now from John Bailiff, who is defending from Kieran Dempsey, who's going around the outside of this right-hander, and he looks like he's going to earn it. He's held it. Kieran Dempsey round the outside of John, who now has the inside to the left-hander, and he makes that move stick. Andy Fox is just watching and waiting. Alpha Henriksen now looking comfortable in the lead. This will be, I read out the winners earlier. If I'm not mistaken, this could be Donny's first win and another new winner for the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. We're on round 8. We've had 5 different winners so far, and this will be winner number 6 if he can hold it. And if Kieran gets it, it will be winner number 6. So either one of these boys at the front, whoever wins, apart from John, who has had a win, Andy Fox hasn't. So any of those 3, apart from John, could be a new winner here on the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. But John, you've got to say, he's been consistently up there in the podium places. He's not going to let it go too easily. This 4 absolutely running away with it. Back behind, this is the other train which Stephen King is leading. I'll tell you who's making moves is Jake Cranston. Sorry, not Jake Cranston, that's Jerry Agard battling with Henry Morse there. There was a bit of contact up ahead, I think, as Donny Alpha Henriksen has now lost a few positions. Oh, it'll be good to see that, actually. Let's have a look if we can see that. Dan Thornton's gone off track somewhere. I wonder how big that was. Let's have a quick look at some replays. Dan Thornton, he didn't get pushed off. Is it going to be of his own accord? Is it going to be a small one? Oh, it was a bit of a corner cut. Interesting. Interesting line. We need to see what happened to Donny. Was he hit by Kieran Dempsey into turn 2? Oh, Kieran had made the move. Donny turned in on him. Kieran was well in there. So yeah, there was a bit of contact. The move was done. And that's how Donny lost those places. But you've got to say, Kieran was definitely there. It was a bit of a send, but it was definitely legit. Donny now back down to P4 after looking like he was comfortably in the lead. But now Kieran Dempsey leads this race, another potential new winner. Jake Cranston is still back there battling with Morgan Burkhardt, who is absolutely, I'll tell you what, Morgan has been fighting tooth and nail this race. He's only in 12th place, but he has been giving it his all. We've seen him battling all of them. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care about names. He doesn't care who he's racing, championship leader or not. He has been battling everybody for the All Sports Racing team, and there he is still trying to hold on in the slipstream now of Jake Cranston, currently in 11th place, who has Joshua Germany up the road in P10, and Jeremy Agard still for Masters of Talk. He's down 3 positions in P9. Ryan Smith down 1 position. Henry Morse has gained 5. Jared Kaler has gained 8 positions to be in P6. It's a great race for him. Stephen King there in P5. He's gained 4 positions. Who's our biggest gainer? Ray Oliver, 10 places up into P13 he goes and makes it 11 places gained. Good effort for Ray Oliver so far. How far can he get? That's Morgan Burkhardt up the road. Can he close him in? Well, it's only 4 minutes left though, so it's going to be tight. I'll tell you what, I've lost track of the time. I did not know there's only 4 minutes left of this 25-minute race. I knew they'd all pit, but it's going to be all to play for. What I don't want to see is a big crash at the end. Oh, Kieran Dempsey gets a bit of a touch there. Getting feisty towards the latest phases of this race. John Bailiff now retakes the lead as Andy Fox slots into 2nd place. Alpha Henriksen slots into 3rd, and Kieran Dempsey, is he going to make it 2x2 again? No. Alpha Henriksen covers the inside. He's going to try and get past John Bailiff. Andy Fox takes the lead of the race. Alpha Henriksen on the inside. Kieran's going to try and make it around the outside. That was risky. He goes off track there, I think. does Kieran Dempsey. He's still there on the outside. He's going to try and hang it around the outside of turn 2. The more these 4 battle, the more the next train catches up. And we know what that train is like. We've got Stephen King, Jared Kaler. Whoa, Andy Fox has gone. No, that's not what we want to see. Andy Fox has had a bit of a touch there. Oh, dear. He's gone a bit deep, has Andy Fox. He's going to touch the grass. That's going to catch John out a little bit. I'll tell you what, I don't think they did touch. Andy's lost it on his own. Kieran's gone off. John retakes the lead. He's going to be fuming, is Andy Fox. Gutted, I think, is the word, as there's more contact down here with Kieran and Alpha Henriksen and the cars behind. Andy Fox has rejoined that little train back behind him, so he hasn't lost too many places. You say that, though. He was in for a potential win, as we can still hear contact behind. Calm it down, boys. Ryan Smith is getting his elbows out. Jeremy Agard's still involved in that. And Jake Cranston is just not wanting to get involved in this little scrap up ahead. I think that's the smarter move, to be honest. As you can see them all scrapping for position. I'll tell you who's not out of it, though. Donny Alpha Henriksen. Stop. Can you hear the contact? Because I can hear the contact. Stop hitting each other, boys. It's not what we want to see. I mean, door to door is fine. Duncan Murray says Andy Fox. No, I know, man. Little bit gutted, but he did lose it by himself. He's not out of the race, though. He is still in P6. He's not going to be happy with the P6, but I think with the 2-second gap, he might be out of that lead train unless they start fighting fiercely up ahead. As you can still see, Morgan Burkhardt still fighting Jake Cranston there. Sorry, that's now Jeremy Agard. So Jake and Jeremy have swapped over. Jake is up the road, so Morgan is battling Jeremy as I hear more contact up ahead. I wonder who that is. It's not the end of the race yet, people. Once again, actually, I would like to shout out everyone that's watching today. Thank you for tuning in to the Volkswagen Jetta Cup for this final 2 minutes of the feature race. Round 8 out of 12. 9 total rounds will count. There are 3 drop rounds available. Who is going to come out on top? John Bailiff, currently back in the lead of this race as he holds the right-hand side of the line. I'll tell you what, something's just happened back there. Let's have a look at that. Is this Jake Cranston and Joshua Germany battling into the final corner? Josh gets run off. Oh dear, you've got to say that was a bit clumsy from both of them, actually. Josh gets run off by Jake, and Jake has to lose a couple of positions as well. You would say that might be penalty enough for Jake, losing a few positions. Last lap. Did you see the white flag? You probably did. The viewers are keener than me. Yeah, I can see him waving it. You are right. This is the last lap. Alpha Henriksen moves back into the lead. John Bailiff slots into P2. Kieran Dempsey is in P3. And Stephen King P4 with Jared Kaler behind in P5. And Henry Morse back there, 3.5 seconds back. He shouldn't be getting involved in this lead 5 battle. As I can see, Martin Wallace and Thomas Berlin are back in the pits, so they must have had issues early on. John Bailiff coming around the outside of turn 5 for Alpha Henriksen. Is he going to make that stick? Alpha Henriksen needs to keep the inside. Stephen King is all over the place. He wants to get on the podium. John Bailiff looks like he's got that done. He turns in, bravely turns in. Alpha Henriksen's still there. Kieran looking to pick up the pieces, but Stephen King tucks in behind, doesn't quite make that move. Alpha Henriksen still on the outside of John Bailiff. He's now going to have the inside, and he's round. John makes contact with Kieran, and he's out of the race. That's a big off for John Bailiff. Can he get it back on track and salvage anything? That will definitely be looked at after the race, because that was a big crash. Kieran will be gutted about that if it was him involved. John Bailiff tumbles down the order after another potential strong finish, but Alpha Henriksen is now looking in the best position so far this race. Kieran in P2 and Stephen King in P3, Jared Kaler P4, Henry Morse is now up into P5. John Bailiff down he goes. He's got no boot, he's got no bonnet. Sebastian Hallmichael is going to pass him soon if he's struggling. This is the last lap. He needs to try and finish as there's still contact behind. These guys are going to be scrapping. Who's in that battle? That's Ray Oliver entering the top 10. Amazing stuff from him. Is he going to have a look up the inside of Jake Cranston into this right-hander? He is. He sends it up the inside, does Ray. Is he going to go deep? He's going to go deep, and Jake gets the switchback on Ray Oliver and gets that position back. And now Joshua Germany is going to battle with Ray into the final corner. But we're entering the final phase of the race. The track map's still on the right-hand side. Donny exits the final corner with Kieran Dempsey behind. It's going to be a new race winner, no matter which one of them takes it across the line. Donny Alpha Henriksen, half a second clear, is going to take the feature race win of round 8. as they cross the line. Donny Alpha Henriksen, Kieran Dempsey and Jared Kaler, your podium for the feature race here at Road America. Ryan Smith here in P6. Andy Fox is going to come home in P7 after an off, leading the race. Jake Cranston P8. He's not going to be happy with that. Ray Oliver up 15 places into P9. Absolutely amazing effort for that man after late contact in the race. Some people are still racing. The final point is available. It's Orlando Herald. He's going to take the final 2 points across the line in 20th place. Jan Weiswanger, Jesus Amundere, who was relatively quiet throughout this race, was Jesus, down in 22nd place. Tyne van den Wittenberg in 23rd. Thomas Burning 24th and Martin Wallace 25th after a 2-stop, I think, for those two. Cool, I need to get my breath. Was it a 2-stop? Yes. Although Jan Weiswanger also did a 2-stop, but finished 21st. Tyne is actually out, and Thomas gained that last position at the end. There you go, Tom. Up to 23rd on the last phases of the race. Well, there we have it. Good race, guys, says Zero Forks Giving Racing. RIP John Bailiff, says Duncan Murray. Nice race, guys. Looks like fun. And another great production. Well done, TRL. Thank you, Zero Forks Giving Racing. Woo, says Paddy 008. Gained a position on the last lap as Tyne van den Wittenberg. I wonder what happened to him. Did he just quit before the race was over? Well. Congrats to the racers, and as always, congrats to the car stake. Amazing, man. Well done all, says Liz Creates. Thank you all for being here. We have one more thing to do, as usual, and that is look at the results and speak to some of the drivers. We're going to have some new people in the chat. I think we've spoke to a couple of them before. Just trying to find an early place in the race so we can have some nice little replays whilst we are talking to people. Now, the results. We want the results. We want the results. Here they are. Donny Alpha Henriksen, 7 temps after 25 minutes of racing in the end, takes your feature race win, with Jared Kaler takes second. Stephen King up in P3. Henry Morse P4. And Ryan Smith P5. Andy Fox gets P6 in the end, with Jake Cranston coming home in P7 after fighting as hard as he could with those feisty midfield battlers. Ray Oliver up into P8 in the end. Joshua Germany P9. Ray Oliver P8. That means he gained 16 places. Joshua Germany P9. Jeremy Agard P10. Chris Smith and Dan Thornton for ORD. I'll tell you what, ORD got some good points this week. Not as high as they would have wanted, but at the same time, all 3 cars in the top 12. Sebastian Hallmichael and Peter Jones, a good result for the Meatball Lovers team with 1 winner and a P13 and 14. Christian Ribeiro P15. John Bailiff, such a strong race for John, and I feel a little bit similar to Jerry's loss of podium there, because John was all over the win that time, and if it wasn't the win, it was a podium for sure, and contact cost him that for sure. Morgan Burkhardt 17th, Ika Lequay P18 in the top group. Orlando Herald P19 for All Sports Racing. Some more points there. Not the best day for All Sports. Morgan was fighting as hard as he could and ended up in P17, so there must have been contact somewhere. Jan Weiswanger taking the final points. I'll tell you what's weird. What's going on here? I'm sure Kieran Dempsey was up. Kieran Dempsey? Why is he showing down there in 21st? What's going on with this feature race result? I'm sure he was second. I wonder what that was. Jesus Mundere, P22. Thomas Berlin, P23. 24 for Martin Wallace and 25 for Van den Wittenbauer. We'll have to find out what happened with the whole order there that's showing on our screens. Well, Peter Holmes Music is very late but still here. What else have I missed? Where are we? Sad week for Jesus, says for Guelfio. Cadared, great racing from all. Shame my man got collected in both races. For Guelfio, at least he didn't run out of fuel. Good joke. It's something. Ya. Or ha in Spanish. I hear you there, buddy. Rough day for Zero Forks Giving Racing and Martin Wallace 2. Gutted for John, says Jerry. Huge bummer for John, says ZFG Racing. Better late than never, says Eloise. John, slow down killed my race, says Jerry. Oh, how did you manage a slowdown? That's the real question. Round here, a slowdown, madness. You must have been pushed off somewhere or cut a corner very difficult to do. You deserve your own medal for getting a slow down, Jerry. Right, it's Discord time. We need to talk to someone, and I say someone. He's already in there, waiting, keen as ever. Is Donny Alpha Henriksen. Let's pull him in. I can't remember if we've spoke to him so far this season. I think we may have spoke once before, Donny, but look at this for a result. A feature race win. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good about myself. That was a very fast redemption arc from last week's shenanigans.
Yes, good point. So last week, Donny jumped the start in the feature race and ended his race very shortly after by driving into the wall at turn 2. And this week, here you are.
You have to keep reminding them.
Yeah, well, and at the same time, I mean, what haven't you done in recent times, Donny? You've had COVID, you've had the COVID-19, you've had a bit of pneumonia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And here you are showing up. Another 24 drivers with a feature race win round Road America. It was looking pretty feisty out there. And, well, from your point of view, was it just a waiting game of making that moves? I mean, you were making moves left, right and centre. It was just who was going to keep that lead. Did you see what happened to John also?
Yeah, he was right behind me, right? And then I think he got turned by Kieran, but I'm not entirely sure.
No, I'm not sure either, because Kieran was... I mean, it's still finished up there, I think, did Kieran, but he's somehow ended up down the order on the results screen. But at the same time, we're not here to talk about Kieran right now. It's about you. A feature race win. You started in 5th, I believe, so you were up 4 places, and you stayed with that train. The pit stop phase was interesting. I thought that the guys that stayed out would potentially close that gap, and it was actually a bigger gap. Because you 4 were just so... I mean, you didn't battle too hard, did you? Was you surprised at the gap when you came out the pits?
No, I think John is the driver who likes to be a bit conservative and go for the good points.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm a bit of the same driver, I think. So I was expecting to come out right behind him because we're not as risk prone as some of the other drivers. But I wasn't expecting that the really fast drivers, Pulses Esports and Cranston, wouldn't have caught up to us. That was a bit of a surprise. Maybe they got caught in traffic or had some incidents or something.
Yeah,
I was expecting them to be right behind me when they were done pitting, but they weren't. I think Steven caught up to me on the last lap. But yeah.
Yeah, he did. He broke free of the train in the end, did Steven. But it was effectively a 2-train race with yourselves, a top 4, top 5 running for most of the race, and then a little gap to the next train, which is where all of those drivers were. But as you said, as the pit stop phase came into play, I thought, as did you, that the gap would close, and it didn't. It actually got bigger, so you guys were clearly putting in the laps, even though you were closely driving. I've got a few people in chat saying congratulations. Intense Michael says, Donny, congrats. Zero Forks Given Racing says, congrats, Donny. Good result for Meatball Lovers as well, with Seb and Peter up in the top 15, I think they were. So they were both 14th and 15th, I think, looking at my screen. Maybe one higher. But, I mean, you must be happy. So, is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go and talk to one of the other drivers?
Well, I'd like to say thanks to my wife, Jamili, for taking care of the children while I do this every Monday on the clock. It's not always you can find the time to actually do a hobby for a couple of hours on schedule when you have 2 children under 4. So
of course, yes, and I'm sure she greatly appreciates the thank you, as does everyone. I'm sure you've just melted the hearts of the viewers out there with that. But it is I'm sure it's a hard job being a parent, and we are glad to have you here. Congratulations again on your win, Donny. Well deserved.
Thanks.
And hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
I hope so too. I'm going for another win.
See you soon, Donny.
That's it. Cheers.
Donny Alpha Henriksen there. Let's have another chat with somebody else who done pretty well. Jared Kaler. You were up there in the end. Our results screen says one results screen says P3 and the other one says P2. What does it say on your screen? Oh, Jared's disappeared. He left the interview room. Jared, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright.
You ran away. We don't see that on TV. Drivers running away from the interviews.
Oh, my Discord just kind of crashed right there. I'm not really sure what happened.
I was just saying that I've got two different results here for some reason. I've got one saying that you're in P3 and one saying you're in P2. Where does it say you are on your screen?
It says I'm in P2 on my screen. I think maybe the guy who originally finished second may have gotten a DQ or black flag or something. But on my screen it says I finished second place.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to find out what happened because it was Kieran Dempsey who seems to have disappeared from the order, and he had a good race. Apart from obviously the contact with John, but at the same time, you were there the whole time in that train, sitting and watching and waiting and getting involved. Was it a clean race for you? How did it feel from your end?
The heat was definitely anything but clean. Got kind of turned around there on the start and kind of just had to work my way back up through the field. And in the main, I was just kind of just sitting in the back, kind of buying my time and picking off people here and there whenever I could, and then made a great call with the pit strategy, kind of just staying out there with the Pulsus Esports guys and just kind of like following them while everyone else kind of dove into pit road, and kind of just stayed with them and passed a lot of people on pit road and kind of leapfrogged the train, and then was able to work with them and then kind of get back up to the that lead pack of 4 or 5 there at the end and make some moves.
Indeed, and it was quite entertaining from our point of view, just to see. I was a bit surprised at the pit stops actually. It was so there was effectively 2 trains. There was the lead 4 or 5, and then there was sort of like the Pulsus train, as it were, the second group, which had I think Dan Thornton was the leader of that for a while, and Morgan Burkhardt fighting hard as well back there. But I expected when, like you said, a few people stayed out late for an extra couple laps, I expected the gap to close right up, but when they came out the pits there was actually a bigger gap. Was you surprised by the lead train pulling that gap initially?
A little bit, but mainly I think the main kind of concept was to leapfrog the train that we were in, and we were all kind of like in the middle or in towards the back of that train, so I think the main goal was just to kind of leapfrog that train and then see if we could maybe lead kind of like close the gap to the front, and we did. But I was a little bit surprised that the leaders were able to stretch that gap out a bit.
Yeah, and I mentioned at some point during the feature race how, because you were behind I think Stephen and Henry at one point, who are obviously in the same team, but obviously you're good friends with Henry as well. Has it ever entered your mind as an independent driver to help out Henry even though he drives for another team, or are you, when you see him on track, do you want to fight him more because you're good friends off track? How do you feel about battling with Henry Morse?
Oh man, definitely I think for the first couple of stages of the race, just kind of trying to work with them and not anger them too much. But then I love battling with them at the end, kind of taking the gloves off and going hand in hand with them, because it's definitely a lot more fun doing that with someone that you know. But yeah, it's definitely more fun at the end of the race when you're with them and you're just kind of battling with them.
Of course. Well, congratulations on your current P2. It's a good podium for yourself and a lot of points. Is there anyone you want to say hello to or thank you to before I let you go?
Thank you guys for putting it on. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to get back out to it next week.
No worries. Thank you, Jared. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
That was Jared Kaler, currently P2 in the results. I've been told in chat, on Twitch chat, Jerry has popped up and says Kieran had 28 incident points and the limit for the series is 24, which means, I'm guessing, Kieran would have had a drive-through penalty, which we of course didn't see him serve, and if he doesn't serve it, you're going to get a time penalty instead, which is why he would have dropped down the order from P2 down to, well, we saw that it was down the bottom end somewhere. That might save me having to give him a penalty because the game has done its job. But at the same time, John finished in 17th in the end. Well, 16th with that position gain. We have got time for one more interview before we say goodbye to all you lovely viewers who have stuck along with us. And you've got to say, who have we got? Let's have a look. Trying to think whether we talk to someone new or do we finish off the podium by grabbing Stephen King. I'll tell you what, actually, I want to speak I'm not going to finish off the podium. I want to speak to the
Couldn't
biggest positions gainer. Here he is. It's Ray Oliver in the interview room, the comms box. 15 positions gained.
You could have given us warning.
Yeah. This is your warning. Welcome to the comms box. But obviously we normally speak to the podium drivers, but I wanted to drag you in because obviously sprint race was a bit of a nightmare. Ended up with effectively a DNF down the bottom end. But at the same time, does that sometimes light up a little bit of a fire, thinking, okay, last to first challenge, let's see how far I can get in this feature?
Well, I did tell the boys that were in the little group chat of watch out, I'm coming through regardless, because there were definitely a few things happening during the first race and the second race that probably you're going to have fun at the stewards meeting. But yeah, just to say, yeah, it was just like, yeah, stuff it, I'm just going to give it all. And thankfully everybody else was doing what I thought they would do and trip each other up, and it was just try and keep it smooth.
Yeah, no, the feature was a great run. There was a little bit of, I think, little bit of a netcode touch with you and Dan, which wasn't too much of an issue. And at the same time, there was a great move at the inside of Jake Cranston towards the late phase of the race, which was really good to see. But it just went slightly deep on the brakes, and I think he got that position back in the end. But that must have been sweet. Set like championship leader up ahead of you and making that move. Did that feel good for you?
It was, after watching what was happening just beforehand on the lap before coming through the last turn, but that's another story. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I sort of just wish that qualifying had gone better, and the first race we actually got a chance to get through the pack, because if we had that, we would have actually had a good chance of giving it a good crack for the final. But as is always the case, you get tripped up by other people, and you end up snookered.
No worries. But P9 in the end, P8 actually with Kieran's late race penalty from the iRacing stewards. So it was 16 positions gained, in fact. So decent points from the feature. Obviously, you would have liked some from the sprint as well. Is there anyone you want to say hello or thank you to before I let you go, Ray?
Just all the sim broadcasting boys of JP Sim Sheds and all that crew, and yeah, without them, we wouldn't have got as far as we've got so far. So it's all good.
No worries, Ray. Thank you for coming in and speaking to us. We'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers, mate.
Ray Oliver there, about 3-4 in the morning for the Australian. Finishes P8. Strong result. I think that is where we'll leave it for today. So, 2 races in. That is where we're at. This is where we're going. If it shows up, it's going to do that thing again, isn't it? Or it doesn't show. Why does it do this? It never shows me the live cup schedule when I want it to at the end of the race. Ah well, I know where we're going. It's Silverstone next week. Next week, Monday, is the Silverstone National Circuit. And I hope you all join us for that race. It's going to be probably similar to this one. Hopefully not in terms of incidents, but in terms of slipstream and layout. It's quite a small layout, but slipstream will be a big factor next week at Silverstone. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all your comments and watching all of these boys race every Monday. We've got 4 rounds left, and then it's going to be a sad day. It's going to be over. The Volkswagen Jetta Cup will be finished, as we see a nice bit of contact there with Seb and Ray into turn 5. Yeah, 4 races left. Cadared says thanks for the stream. Hopefully catch you next week. Definitely. We'll see you then. As usual, don't forget to keep those likes and comments coming in, and hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel or Twitch if you haven't already. We're approaching 2,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and we need your help to get there. Thank you all for the support so far. And as usual, if I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on The Racing Line. Peace.